12th, 2025. It is 6:30 on the head, and I'm calling to order the Town of East Troy regular board meeting. Roll call. Jones here.
Leonard here.
Maria's here.
Church here.
John are here.
Before we get to the pledge, three things I want to note. Chief Gorecki put out a nice note about National Police Officers Memorial Day on the 15th, and the entire week is National Police Week. There is also a National Fallen Firefighters Memorial Weekend, which was May 3rd through 4th, and flags were flown at half-staff. And then Memorial Day is coming up before the next meeting on May 26th, and that's for all who died while serving in the United States, and they will be flown at half-staff as well. So, Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I have it all organized so I don't forget something. Do we have the meeting agenda? Does everybody like the way it's set up? Do you want to make changes or amendments, or can I have someone make a motion to approve the agenda?
I'll make a motion that we approve the meeting agenda for May 12th, 2025.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
It just says the committee report. It doesn't
Okay,
say to
you
approve.
don't have the minutes in there?
No.
Okay.
Because they weren't approved yet.
Okay.
So any discussion?
No.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, it's approved. Clerk Buchanan, would you please confirm that the town has followed the requirements of the open meeting law for public notification?
Yes, they have been done.
Perfect. So, next on the list are meeting minutes. The first one is,
Make a motion that we approve the minutes from the Monday, April 14th, 2025 board meeting.
Second.
any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The minutes are approved. The next one is the Town of East Troy Planning Commission minutes. March 19th, 6:30 PM,
And April 2nd, 2025.
and April 2nd.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the March 19th, 2025 Planning Commission minutes and the April 2nd, 2025 Planning Commission minutes.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? They are approved. Then we are at the treasurer's report.
No,
Special meeting.
Did I miss one?
And actually, can I ask, the resolution approval petition, was that part of the planning commission minutes?
Yes, it was.
And I see it has your signature now instead of Jen's.
That was a copy that Jean printed off from, Jen emailed it to her. The one I signed goes to county. Also.
I don't see the park committee minutes.
No.
We have
they're not
special
in the
meeting
committee.
April 29th.
We just had a special meeting.
Yeah, we have a special board meeting April 29th.
April 29th.
Well, I was not here for it.
I'll make a motion to approve the special meeting board minutes from Tuesday, April 29th.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? They're approved. So now we go on to the treasurer's report.
Treasurer's report for April 2025. Total receipts were $37,950.11. Transfers were $211,000. Interest earned on the general checking was $169.68. Balance as of March 31st was $5,329.91. Total funds for April were $254,449.70. Checks paid in April were $245,888.60, with a remaining balance of $8,561.10.
I'll make a motion, we accept the treasurer's report for May 12, 2025 as read.
Second.
I have some discussion. What is LGIP?
Local Government Investment Pool.
I gotta get the acronyms right. Okay. Any other discussion?
Not at this one.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So we have approved the treasurer's report. Now we are to public comments, and, did I
Was
miss?
it the clerk and the treasurer report?
Oh,
Did we have any?
did you have anything more to
That's
add?
separate.
If anybody has any questions about the clerk.
Yeah, about voting or,
Do I need to make a motion to accept the treasurer or the clerk's
The clerk-
report?
No,
okay,
no, I don't think so.
all right.
Okay, so now we are to public comments. Please be advised that per state statute 1984, paragraph 2, information may be received from the public. Comments are limited to 4-minute periods per person. Be further advised that there will be no discussion on the information received, and no action will be taken regarding public comments. Upon conclusion of this citizen participation segment, members of the audience are not allowed further comment unless they are participating in a public hearing, or if specifically allowed by a majority vote of the town board due to involvement in a specific agenda item. Further, tonight, we asked, because we're going to be trying to talk about the major wake boat discussions that have been brought forth for the last 4 months, no public comments will be taken tonight on the topic of wake enhanced boating, as we have heard from the public at least at the 3 or 4 meetings and at the electors meeting. So, anyone have any public comments? He's got some public comments.
This doesn't have to do anything with the wake enhancement issue, but through an observation I had and from some neighbors and other towns.
State your name and address, please, for the record.
Brian Fons, N8680, Winners Road, East Troy.
Thank you.
There were some concerns about a mass mailing that went out leading up to the electors meeting. And it appeared to be a deliberate attempt to confuse and misinform the citizens of the town of East Troy by putting out a sample ballot, and I'm talking about Bureau of Responsible Voters. And actually, the town board was referenced in it, and it probably would have been nice if you guys were consulted, because it didn't reflect what was on the ballot. And it just goes to the core of trust and voter integrity and getting good information for people to vote rather than confuse and mislead. Let me just, can I hand this out to each of you? This is just a copy of what I'm referring to. And this ballot was posted on Facebook at least 6 days before the April 15th meeting. So I know Mary Quirk posted a copy of it on Facebook, and numerous people brought it to the attention, her attention, and other people's attention, that it was wrong and it was not correct. And the mailing still went out, regardless of that fact that it wasn't correct. So it just leads to, how do you trust people that put something out like this, which is not correct? And I had a number of people call me confused. What the hell is this? And that's not good. And I just wanted to bring it to your attention. There's a footnote about the town board being referenced. You're basically being used to put that out. And I think it would just behoove groups to, if they're gonna put something out with the town board, as part of a piece, that they should be consulted or asked about it before it's put out. That's all I have to say.
Anybody else? Mr. Faust?
Good evening. Rich Faust, N9349 Woodfield Court. I just want to give a little shout out to the residents for coming to the electors meeting in a record number. They came, they voted. I know Chairman Jones, when we had our sit down and at your listening session, you wanted to get the community involved, and I think we did. It was good. Transparency, communication, and you did mention, get the residents involved on big issues. When the town hall issue came about with the building, the $4.5 million building, people came here and voted. And they voted to not build a $4.5 million building. And the town board went along with that. I mean, they wanted a new building. The former chairman, he wanted a new building, former police chief, but the people spoke. And it didn't happen. It didn't even go to a referendum. Then the ATV ruling came out, and I believe that's when the three of you people, got on board. And the initial ATV ruling was town roads only, which left me in an island. And I was not happy with that. And when you two then came on board, you voted.
You two.
I'm sorry.
Supervisor Johnner.
Supervisor Janner and Supervisor Leonard, when you guys came on board, you reached out to the public came. There was actually a former supervisor that stood here and said the public spoke, and you guys voted and pushed that through, even though Chairman Kwiatkowski wasn't a fan of it. I'm bringing this up because I find it interesting that the people spoke at the electors meeting and spoke largely on what they wanted to do. And I don't know who made the decision that 16 is greater than 128, but now we're going to take and look at going to a committee with this certain issue that's out there. I think this is wrong. I think, if the people came and they stood in the cold for an hour to get in there and cast a vote, and now you're going to take and go totally different, you're going to go with the second option, I think it's wrong. And I think you need to, listen to the citizens. And you ran on that. You ran on getting the citizens involved. You ran on letting them make the decisions. So I think that's something you got to look at. And the other thing is with the committee, it's going to be the most expensive and the most drawn-out process. Where at least if you went the other direction, there's a possibility that you could get something done at a relatively less cost to the taxpayers.
One more.
I'm walking a fine line here.
I'm Tom Van Den Bogart. I'll use our camp address, W2035 Beulah Heights Road. I'm the president of Protect Lake Beulah. I just want to make everybody aware that our spring meeting is coming up this coming Saturday from 9 to 11. I want to thank the town here. We hosted them here for years and years, and we just outgrew this space. We typically get about 200 people that come to our meetings. And we have this filing cabinet that belongs to Protect Lake Beulah. I took some of the stuff out of it tonight, but we will be evacuating that, and you can repurpose that and use it for whatever. But we certainly thank you for the wonderful hospitality you've provided over the years. We just recently, we have another educational meeting. I mentioned it at your last meeting on the 31st, where we're going to be doing educational discussions on the sensitive areas of the lake, why they were created, why they're important, and how do we protect them. Also, Lake Beulah is a marl lake. What does that really mean? We have a speaker that will be talking about that and what makes us unique because of the fact that we're a marl lake. And then lastly, we're going to be talking about the weed vegetation on the lake, and we're doing some additional studies. Unfortunately, we made the decision that this will be the first year in 60-some years that we will not be stocking fish into the lake. Instead, what we're going to, because of the vegetation issues, we're looking at doing some restoration and doing some studies that further understand the vegetation that's being impacted on our lake. So hopefully you can come to our sessions and our meeting, which is coming up this Saturday. So thank you, and I hope that we're able to foster a good team effort with this board, because again, our mission is to do nothing more than to protect Lake Beulah. Thank you.
Excuse me, Tom, what time is that meeting on the 31st?
9 to 11, it's gonna be at the community center, and then our meeting. No, he's talking the 31st, the informational meeting. Our spring meeting for Protect Lake Beulah is gonna be at the Yacht Club, and that's from 9 to 11. And if you guys would like to have a 15-minute spot on the agenda to talk, you're more than welcome to do that, just let me know. We put out a general agenda by email, and then I always type up the final agenda that's available the day of the meeting, so there's still time if you choose to do so. Thank you.
Thank you.
Did you say that was this Saturday?
Yes.
No, oh, yeah.
Because I think Booth Lake also has a meeting
They
this
do.
Saturday morning.
The same day. Yep.
Anybody else?
Bob Rice, W884 Shorewood Drive, East Troy. I was very troubled at the annual meeting with what was on the ballot. I've heard and I've attended a lot of these monthly meetings for the town of East Troy. The choice was to ban wake boats in the town of East Troy. I was a prior board member for Potters Lake Protection Rehabilitation District for 17 years. Not once did Lake Beulah Protection Rehabilitation District or the Management District reach out to our Lake District, but yet my choice on the ballot was to ban wake boats in the town of East Troy, which included our lake. Far overstepping your authority. Thank you.
Wake boats are not on the agenda tonight, just a reminder.
It was the lack of getting us involved in the process and the rules.
John, no, understood, understood.
I'd like to bring
Name and address, please.
John Stoss, North 8831 Stringers Ridge Road, East Troy. I'd like to bring to the community's attention something that happened recently that I find it a little bit disturbing. There was a lawsuit filed by the Lake Beulah Management District against the Town of East Troy Town Board. And I find it a little ironic that the town and the county collect the taxes, and they give $195,000 a year stipend check to the management district to protect the lake, and then the management district decides to sue the town board. So that seems kind of counterproductive. I'm not going to name any names. I'm not going to make a big fuss out of it. I went down to Walworth County and I read the 28-page brief with 158 questions. There was about 400 pages worth of stuff in there. And it was basically regarding the issuance of the approval of the conditional use for my property on Stringers Bridge Road. So I don't know how much of the community knows about this, but it might be time to reevaluate the people that sit on the board that have the authority to spend $195,000 a year in how they're doing it. That's all.
Anyone else?
Good evening, my name is Bill Wooker. I live at West 1210 Wolf Way here in the town of East Troy. I've lived in the township for 29 years. I'm a previous town supervisor with years of experience as a planning commissioner. As a taxpayer, I object to paying the lawyer fees associated with the recent lawsuit brought against the town board. Sophomoric years of judgment by Supervisors Reyes, Leonard, and Janer have incurred this unnecessary expense upon all of us. I call upon Supervisors Leonard, Janer, and Reyes to consider forfeiting their town stipend as payment for this litigation expense. town has little chance of winning this lawsuit based on the aforementioned supervisors' collective legislative actions. The three supervisors displayed a lack of understanding and knowledge of the Shoreline Protective Ordinance, and in particular, Seaford Conservancies. Further, the three supervisors not once but twice canceled its own planning commissioners' well-reasoned and unanimous recommendations to deny a commercial marina in an aquatic, highly sensitive area. In addition, the three supervisors did not wait until required approvals by the Wisconsin DNR were issued for this business venture. The errors just keep compounding themselves. Lastly, the three supervisors ignored that this commercial marina request by the applicant has already been litigated with Wisconsin courts, where a judge has already ruled against the proposal and also denied an appeal of that ruling. All in all, Supervisors Janer, Leonard, and Reyes have brought this lawsuit upon themselves, or should I say, upon this town board. The least they could do and should do is pay to mop up their mess. Personally, I object that taxpayers who deserve quality services and an intelligent elected board should flip the bill for this lawsuit. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Oh, Carla.
Just for clarification, we don't
Please
all.
state your name and address,
Oh,
please.
Carla Georgie, North 8590 Stringers Bridge Road. It's the riparian owners that are paying the bulk of that lawsuit. Second of all, that when we went to court for our grandfather of using boats there, they did not say we could never have boats there. We were denied grandfathership, and that's it. So they didn't deny us from having a marina there. Simply, again, we couldn't prove grandfathership on the boats. So that's all a misunderstanding, and I commend the commissioners because what they did was they followed Act 67, and by law they were supposed to do what they did. So I just want to commend you for standing your ground, looking at the law, and not listening to all the twisting that was done. So I thank you for that.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Hi, Mary Lou McKee, I live at W1031 Miramar Road. We have two properties as you come into Miramar that are not suitable for looking at. One is at north at 9230 Walnut Street. That property has not been lived in for probably over 30 years. I know it's not over 30 years. They come out from Milwaukee, they use that property so they can use your legs, and that's it. There's been a tarp. They need a new roof. There's never been a roof on there. It's, the tarp that they keep putting on is probably over 30 years old. There is no water, there is no sewer there. There's plenty of varmints that go, if you guys want to go hunting, go ahead. But that's it. I'd like to see something done with this. It's about the third time I've been here with this, with different boards. I don't know how you go about getting rid of it. It's, the only thing it has going for it is electricity. It's just a dead piece of property.
What's the address again?
Excuse me?
The address?
North 9230 Walnut Street. Just as you go over the bridge, in the right. I'd like to see Miramar get cleaned up. It's going back to where it was when we moved there 50-some years ago. People are just not taking care of their property. They don't mow their grass there either. It's already 2 feet high. So when they do mow it, it looks like a hayfield instead of a property. The other place I would like to see somebody do something about is W1048 Miramar Road. And as far as I can see. So, and then he just keeps piling wood. And he's got chickens, which is no problem, but it's just, I had a lady, I run the East Troy Food Pantry. I had a lady come in there and she said she's ashamed to live in Miramar because when you drive in, these are two properties that you see. All the rest of the houses are 25, 30 years old. So, you know, it's kind of, and they're well kept. So if anybody can do anything about this, I would appreciate it. And if you need any more information, please get a hold of me. She knows where I live. Thank you.
I'll offer on the abandoned house or appearance of abandoned house. The town was called by 2 citizens this week. I visited out there this week. We will follow up on this and the W-1048, and I'll get her name. Go right ahead.
Elwin Jones, W1021 Miramar Road. That piece of property Mary was talking about, I live adjacent to it. Ever since I've lived here, there has been nobody at that house. I've seen somebody twice at that property in 9 years, over 9 years. She's right, there's a tarp on the roof. They replaced it, I think, once, and it's a blue tarp that you can buy anywhere. It's a light tarp, it's not even a heavy-duty tarp. There's a window now missing, and there are all kinds of critters going in and out of the house. I saw some squirrels going in and back with it, so. It's an eyesore, it's been an eyesore. And so, I have I'm a real estate agent, I looked up a few things. I have some information on who I think owns the property, and if somebody gets hold of the board, I'd be happy to drop off my card, and I'd be happy to talk to them about it. I might even buy the property myself and put a spec home on it, but I'm just sick and tired of the eyesore. So.
What was your name again?
Elwin Jones.
Elvin?
Elwin.
Elwin.
W-Y-N.
Okay.
Jones.
We're not related.
No, we're not.
Anyone? Go right ahead.
Good evening, I'm John Becker, W1958 pastime lane. Recently, there was an electors meeting, and the 2 main subjects on it. And the one that baffles me was the airplane situation. No feedback on it. I think the vote was taken, was very negative on it, but I haven't heard anything since then. And it doesn't show up on the agenda here. Likewise, on the other subject, certainly there was a negative vote, and it seems to have disappeared. Nothing on that, but we have a new plan now. It's quite different than what the electors voted on. And I'm concerned that the main thing we have under the new regime now is transparency, openness, and the electors will decide a lot of things. That doesn't appear to be the case here. But I would like to have feedback on the airplane situation. Thank you.
Anyone else?
Good evening, John Finney, N9299 East Shore Road. So I wasn't planning on getting up tonight, but first of all, I'd like to congratulate Chairman Jones on his victory. Thank you to the clerks for managing everything, and Supervisor Reyes and Church on your wins. Look forward to a new chapter in the town of East Troy. As some of you know, I'm a moderator on Informed Citizens, Town of East Troy, Facebook page here, 2,200 members. I prefer to let my thoughts be known almost on a daily or a couple times a week basis, It's a good forum where everybody can chip in real time. And I encourage I know that the supervisors and some of the town here do participate or at least view and get real feedback from people on different issues. And I think that's healthy. I think it's part of the democratic process. It's 2025, the old days are over. And so transparency and communication and sharing information is good. Regarding wake boats, there's going to be more to follow, of course. Nobody's talking about banning wake boats. We're talking about considering looking at the wake enhancement mode.
It's not on the, can't speak to
Oh,
the wake
sorry.
boats.
Okay. I just heard some misinformation that we don't like.
I understand.
Nobody's banning wake boats. And regarding the lawsuits and things of that nature, just a reminder that that same decision was approved unanimously by the county when clearer heads prevailed perhaps. So I commend the town board on their decisions. I think they did the right thing. Everybody's got rights, including property owners, and the rezoning was, in my opinion, the right thing to do. So anyway, good luck to the new board. Very exciting, and thank you for listening.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Oh, and I have to say, congratulations and applause for the town police. It's National Honor the Police Week. It should be one per year, but Captain Chief Drackey, good job.
Anyone else? Okay, public comments are done. Next on the agenda is the chairman's report. I've submitted a report. I don't plan to go through it. I'm going to try and hold this format going forward for meetings I attend and other issues I deal with. However, I did have a few opening comments, considering this is my first board meeting since I was elected. First of all, thank you to all the voters who stood behind me and supported me through this election. Your support is humbling, and I consider this an important responsibility. I also want to thank Joe Klarkowski and Barb Church for their service in this role and their leadership commitment to the town over many years. The voters of the town of East Troy clearly voted for change and not business as usual. The voters want more transparency, proactive communication, common sense, simplicity, fiscal responsibility, efficiency with our town resources, equal treatment, and greater community engagement. Every day, I will strive to maintain focus on these day-to-day objectives. I ask for your patience, as some mistakes will be made at times, but we will fix them quickly, and I hope we have a little fun along the way. Please understand, we may have to spend money in the short term to be more efficient in the long term. We may have to break things so we can restructure and organize them more efficiently. We may have to move one step back to take 3 steps forward. Please give me a little latitude as I ease into this role. Thank you. I bring a unique viewpoint to my new role. I am seeing everything about the chairman and board's role through a fresh perspective and an unbiased public lens. However, I bring 38 years of private sector experience in strategic planning, problem solving, project management, team management, and company leadership. It is my firm belief these experiences will allow me to be rifle-focused on the most important aspects of running this town. My pledge to everyone, I will conduct myself in a manner such that if I do not understand why we are doing something, or why we are doing it a specific way, or whether sufficient information exists to make an informed decision, I plan to bring it before the board for open discussion for all of us here to hear, and the board can better understand what we are trying to accomplish together, and always delay board decisions until there is sufficient information. This is how I plan to build transparency and trust between citizens and the town. I believe there may be a lack of understanding about statutory guidelines, government procedural activities, and what information can and cannot be shared with the general public. I also feel strongly that we can make our processes more efficient. I plan to provide constant education and information to the public that should help to mitigate this lack of understanding, thereby increasing trust. Here's a quick list of items we will cover tonight. First, defining the difference between Chapter 30, 33, 281, 60, and the public trust doctrine, which is in the Constitution, some of which are governing bodies in our town, but all intertwined within our township. Second, following procedures at the meetings under Chapter 2.2, which are the bylaws and rules of procedure for the town board. There are 13 different ordinances under this chapter, and we will be addressing Ordinance 040 and 50 to streamline, hopefully shorten, and make our meetings more effective. We will be following Robert's Rules of Order per Ordinance 60 and 70, which establishes only one person should be speaking at a time. The chairperson will recognize the clerk, treasurer, town attorney, supervisors, or employees of the town at any time to speak. No one else should be speaking except during public comments. Finally, complex issues or information should be provided in writing and included in the packet to improve understanding, eliminate confusion, as well as reduce excessive questioning, which I've seen all take place here. And I'm going to try and make that all available to the public as well, so we can reduce questioning on the public's part. It will take me time to settle in, but this is how I plan to move forward. I don't think we need to approve chairman's reports, right? Just move on. So Barb, do you have, you want to cover your report?
My report's in the packet. Are there any questions? Hearing none, it's there.
Okay. Media, which the report is in the packet. I think I also saw there is a newsletter that if you had any comments.
I did, on, what is, I think the back page or like the mailing page, there's a box about a special, do you have a special event coming soon related to Jim Burns Memorial Park?
Yep.
And there, it still references, and I meant to email Jen before this, it still references like coming soon is some exercise equipment, whereas on the other side, we already showed that it's installed, so we just need to update, remove the words coming soon and add a later date in that sentence.
Okay. I noticed there was a couple of things. I will just talk with Jen about them. Some just edits. Anything else from anybody on the newsletter or Jen's report?
I thought I liked the layout this one. That was good.
It's colorful too.
I'm not sure about that first.
Yeah. Okay, so next we're on to Department of Public Works. Oh, for the newsletter with the changes. Okay,
I
so
make a motion to approve the 2025 newsletter with the amended changes as
Second.
presented.
any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? It passes. So now we're at Todd, it's your floor.
It's kind of a busy month, as you can see with my report. A lot of people like that. Is there anybody with questions on it?
The salt, I had a question. There's no word of brining. Do we purchase that from somebody, or do we make it ourselves?
No, we get it, we purchase it from the county, we deliver it.
Okay, so we do purchase from the county, but we don't purchase salt from the county.
No, we're on a state contract with the county, or with the state.
Okay. And do we store brine
Yep,
solution?
we keep, when we get it filled, it's 6,000 gallons at a time. And we do quite a bit of it. We have a skid unit that we use in one of the small trucks, And one of our new trucks, or newer trucks is fitted with a pre-wet system.
And so that gets filled up in the fall, right before the
I
winter?
think it's, we had
Whenever?
it filled 3 times this year.
Okay,
Can I?
yeah.
Just a little ironic that we had 300 tons of salt brought in and then 390 taken back.
Yeah.
So it's just end of
it's-
season,
It's happened the last couple of years.
Mhm.
I mean, can't predict Mother Nature.
Right.
And you don't wanna run out.
Mhm.
So this year I cut way back, cause we're full. Hopefully it doesn't turn around and bite me in the rear end, but we'll
So we
see.
are still full?
Yeah, we're full.
Okay, thank you.
And it was a pretty light winter.
Yeah,
Even the
total-
county.
Total winter was only 18 inches of snow here.
Yeah.
But we had a couple icy nights that, and that's the worst for salt, because you get that freezing rain, all you can do is keep dumping. But we've actually cut back on all our trucks with the use of the underbody scrapers, of the pre-wetting that we do, pre-brining that we do for safety.
Anything else on his report? I was questioning the problem with the tractor. Does it
Yep,
just,
that's coming up.
oh, you're gonna talk about it,
Yep.
okay.
Yep, in budget last year, we.
Well, first is windows. Yeah. Windows first.
Yep, first thing, windows, I think, well, both of them are budget issues, but, last year we budgeted to replace 5 windows in here, 1 in, now is Vince's office, 2 here, and 2 in the courtroom. Just wanna see if we still wanna keep moving forward with that. I gave it a couple quotes, I mean, I contacted like 9 different window companies, and they keep saying this is a commercial building, commercial windows, they didn't wanna touch them, and only a handful of companies wanted to do a commercial window.
Have we tried local, any local, or are they all pretty much, I see Abby's windows, it's fairly local.
Yeah, this is just a couple that I redid just in this last month.
Abby seems proud of her windows.
Yeah, she
Very
does.
proud.
Yeah, I know what's funny is both of those quotes are for another.
Exact same.
Exact same window,
Right.
but huge difference.
What was the reasoning of doing them? Are they rotting out? Why?
They frost up in the wintertime. There's one in the courtroom that the seal's actually broken, it's all foggy right now. It's trying to help save a little bit of energy, because we lose a ton of heat through this place.
What's the wood and stuff around it look like, do you know?
All pretty good.
All pretty good.
Yeah. So it's just something to see if you want to keep moving forward, as we budgeted for it, to see if you want me to keep moving forward, to find more quotes and.
So it is in the budget?
Yes.
And it's in a
Just, it
designated
hasn't been
fund.
talked about since budget time last year.
It's in a
I'd like to
designated-
see 1 or 2 more.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, if the seals are broken, you're losing energy,
Yeah.
so.
Okay, I'll keep moving forward, and hopefully by next month, and get more quotes, and now that I know that we still want to do it.
Is the 12.7 within the budget?
Yes.
Quote for tractor replacement. Last year in the budget, we share boom mower, brush mower with a common truck. It was 22 years old, starting to nickel and dime us, so we budgeted for a new one. We took, Tom Troy went 2 weeks ago, because it came in, had it fitted our tractor, we took our tractor over to get it fitted. When we talked with the salesman, he's like, yes, it'll fit, until he actually seen our tractor. Kind of put it back in the salesman a little bit. When my previous boss ordered the tractor, he changed tire sizes and all that, put road tires on it. It's actually a little undersized, and unbeknownst to us, that tractor that year came with a 540 RPM PTO or 1,000 when he ordered it. Ours is only capable of 540 RPM. The new boom mower needs 1,000 RPMs to run it. So, and we already paid for our half of the boom mower. So I got a quote on a new tractor. I hated to do it, because they said it would fit on ours. But in 2 years, I was gonna put it in the budget to replace it, but otherwise, we spent $30,000 on a piece of equipment that we can't use.
So, what doesn't work about the current tractor?
It sits too low to the ground with tire size, because he downsized, and it doesn't have the capability to go from a 540 RPM PTO to a 1,000 RPM PTO.
So it won't drive.
It would not
Oh.
drive the new piece of equipment that we bought.
Yeah.
That, I mean,
What's the guy doing since he said it was gonna work?
we already paid for half of it, and then, like I said, not knowing that ours did not have that capability, being that new, most of them did, but when Greg ordered it, he didn't order it with that option.
Why are we getting the new, mower? Is that a cab or a mower?
No, it's a tractor.
It's a tractor.
Yep.
For 35.
Oh, no.
That's a trade-in value.
That's a trade-in.
Trade-in, so,
Yeah,
well, this is a new tractor,
brand new.
but what were we buying on
We
our old?
bought a boom mower with the town.
A
of
boom
Troy.
mower,
Yeah.
right, so that just gives us more cut length?
No, it's actually for mowing high branches and brush and all that alongside the
Oh,
road versus
boom
us
mower.
running along with a chainsaw and a chipper.
What's the chances of renting the town of
Zero.
Troy boom tractor
0.
to run this for a couple of years? Zero.
They use it for roadside mowing just like we do.
Right, but we are splitting the boom, right? So
Yep.
how can they use it when we're using it? There's only one boom
Yeah,
mower.
and we've worked it out, we usually, because years past, we didn't have a tractor with a cab on it, so we used it in the summer, on a tractor that didn't have a cab, they had a tractor with a cab, so they used it in the wintertime, and that's still kinda how we do it,
Yeah.
that's how we share it.
So they can't use our little mower while we're using the boom mower.
No, because they still got a more roadside. I know, it was unbeknownst to me that we needed this 1,000 RPM when we ordered this back in beginning of the year.
So this 105 is not budgeted.
Not, no. So I was asking if the board would approve it, otherwise we own half of a piece of equipment that we can't use. Talked with Kim, we have some money in equipment replacement.
We have 20,
Yep.
so we take another 20 off of the
Taking another 20,000
105.
off that, we're down to 84. I said, in 2 years I was gonna budget for a new one, just cause it's gonna be the 10 years old.
So would the guy take the boom, mower back and give us full price, or would he?
It's something we had a written agreement with the town of Troy to purchase half, and we already paid for half.
Oh, with the town of Troy.
Yeah.
That's why I was asking, why can't we use, when they're not using it, can we use it or whatever, but apparently that doesn't work either.
It doesn't, it's just because they use their tractor, like I said, for roadside mowing, and we have the boom mower in ours. It'd be a hard one to try and borrow that, and then they just got their new tractor last year too. And I don't see how that would work without borrowing their equipment when they need it too.
But I think Tyson was saying, like, if we
Well, I don't know
borrow
how
the
one
brush,
person can drag two tractors at the same
if we
time.
borrow the brush one, they can't use our little one for
Right.
mowing roadside? While we're using it?
It'd be a lot of work to try and figure out if they would be even.
Right,
up
but
to
this
If
is
they
a
might
lot.
not need it, right, when we
A lot of money.
are using it, right?
I think
For
there's
1 year?
liability issues. I can't imagine their town attorney would let someone else use their equipment.
I mean, we don't have an agreement for using their equipment, we have an agreement for when we purchase a boom mower. Just like we have it for between us, town of Troy, and the village of East Troy for the bucket truck.
I understand that.
Crack filling machine, I mean, certain
This-
agreements that you have for equipment for sharing, but a roadside tractor like that to try and share, I mean, it's really hard on equipment to begin with on the roadsides. And then it'd be also, if we broke it, we'd have to fix it type of thing.
Understood, but,
Yeah.
well, there's, I mean, we're talking about a $200,000 mistake here, so that somebody made, either we did or the sales guy did, Todd, so, you know,
Yeah. I understand.
people are already looking at the board.
Well, I understand
Yeah.
wholeheartedly,
Right.
it's a tough ask.
Yeah,
Chairman
But-
Jones.
and then we just bought the truck, right?
Kim wants.
Todd and I had talked about this, and you're looking at $85,000 in 2025, but you're looking at 200 and some thousand dollars in 2027.
Because,
Yeah, they'll order another one.
Yeah.
I mean,
This is a
they're giving us
highly
a decent price on
discounted.
rate.
is this the same sales guy that,
We never-
no, I'm sorry, I'm not, I'm sorry.
I know, I agree with your
Yeah.
question, no, we had a salesman from Mid-States with the boom mower, and this is a salesman from Johnson Tractor, where we originally purchased the tractor. Still giving us a decent price, they're giving us 35,000 trade on it, we paid 50 for it 8 years ago.
That's a pretty good trade-in value.
Yeah.
And do they have this equipment now?
Yep. Falls at a bad time, but
Is there anything else on the budget we can pull out to cover the 100?
85.
85, yeah.
But we saved a ton of road work this year. I know that. By the numbers we got that I budgeted for last year and the actual numbers that came in when we did our bid openings for road work.
Well.
Welcome, Chairman Jones, welcome.
Anybody want to make a motion?
I don't know.
So, I mean, it's your guys' decision. Like I said, otherwise we paid $30-some thousand for a piece of equipment that we can't use for who knows how many years.
Can I ask another question?
Absolutely.
Okay. If we, is this price this month, I mean, if we were to table this for a month, how much of an effect is that gonna, on you, I guess, to get the work done, and on the price?
I don't know if prices would go up. This is on one that the tractor he's quoting us on is one that somebody ordered and didn't take.
And it's available now.
And it's available now. I didn't get an actual new prices. This is the one that somebody, like I said, somebody ordered and they have left.
Valid point.
So no one might even know.
The quote, Attorney Mills just identified, it says expiration date April 30. So is this still valid, or?
Yeah, because in fact, last Monday, we just went over there
So
to make sure that this tractor would work for what we need.
The 194 then is full list price,
Yep.
and they're giving us 54 off that?
For government, and 35,000 on trade.
And to take it off their hand, right? I mean, because they have it, they bought it for somebody else, right?
Yep. Somebody else ordered
So-
it, didn't take it.
Right.
So, for us to order one, don't know how long it would take to get one in. I know last time when we ordered the tractor we currently have, it took almost 4 months to get it in, and,
And this one's available now.
yeah.
September.
Yeah, I mean, if we don't get it, we don't be able to use the equipment, we can still use our old one for mowing roadsides and everything we need to do, and like I said, we just won't be able to use the equipment that we already purchased.
And Kim, what is the 20,000? Is it equipment
We have,
replacement?
if you look at your treasurer's report, you'll see in designated funds, it's a lump sum amount. But in designated funds, we have $20,000 set aside for equipment replacement. Actually, I think it's an LGIP account.
Oh, yeah.
So-
Number 4.
Go ahead.
Kim, would this go into, this would be a loan, go into our, we'd be adding on to our loan then again?
Correct, but like Todd said, what we were gonna borrow for road work, we're not borrowing as much
As
for
much.
road work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you were gonna budget this for 2 years?
I'll make a motion, we approve the purchase from Johnson Tractor for a cab MFD tractor at $104,996.72.
I'll second.
Any discussion?
I think given the track record of ordering machinery, knowing that this is available, I think even trying to order it in a year, we may be backed up for a while. So it may behoove us to actually do this now and not face what the manufacturers of big equipment is doing all along, you know, to many municipalities down the road.
Who is the boom mower manufacturer that
Diamond.
stuck us? We're gonna scrutinize them harder, right?
And Town of Troy tractor is only a year old, and they had that capability where they could source the PTO. Because immediately, once we found that out, when they fit it on theirs, because we didn't even know that it needed the 1,000 RPM until they went to put it on a tractor at the dealership.
Well, it's not gonna cut very well if you're half the RPM,
Yeah.
so. We have a motion and a second, so, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, we're buying a tractor.
I would like to say one thing, Chairman. I can't wait until, I do like the idea of Superintendent Shield putting in a memo from now on, because there would have been, because I was looking at this today and I'm like, what's this tractor all about? But
Yeah,
it would have been great to have
It just
that.
happened
Right.
that soon. I will get more stuff typed up here in the future.
Sweet.
I had to talk with Joe.
No, I'm actually happy it
Awesome.
was in there, even though it didn't have any explanation.
Yeah.
And then you have snow plowing, we wanted,
Yep, it's, our private road snow plowing class that we had to do now every year. The prices come right from Department of Transportation, what they chargeback rates are for every little piece of equipment, right down to almost a screwdriver. And this year it went up a little bit, like everything did, and we used more brine this year. Seems how we have that capability.
yep. So it's 5327 per address.
Yep.
And then can I just confirm, we said we're taking a 3-year average, right? That's what we do the billing on? It's not like just the most recent year. So do we know what that 3-year average would be? Not yet? We don't need to
I
put that
can
on
get that
taxes
to
now.
Attorney Mills when I get it. Yeah, I
And
don't know off the
each
top of-
year it'll go up and down, and again, it's on Mother Nature.
Right. That's why we wanted to do an average.
Yeah, and it's still gonna be
Joe,
tough to do.
to be recognized.
Attorney Mills.
I would say approve or authorize me to change the rate based upon the 3-year average, including these figures.
Yeah, 'cause I think 3 years ago, it was almost up to 70.
Right.
Last year was like 50. Right at 50. This year went up to like 53.
So I'll make a motion to authorize Attorney Mills to update the 2025 snow plowing charge based on the 3-year average of the actual snow plowing costs.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Thank you.
Passes. I think we have, that's it, right?
Anything else?
I don't think so. That was enough.
I know. Stop doing that.
Apologies if I sound a little rough tonight, the allergies have kicked in and congestion.
It's not too much partying from Police Week?
No, not at all. Before I get started, I want to thank Girl Scout Troop 20, 211. Tonight they put on dinner for all of law enforcement, all of EMS, and all of the area firefighters. And I want to thank Chief DeGaro. He opened up the firehouse to allow them to cook there. It was nice to see a bunch of deputies and some of the village officers and be able to just relax and have a conversation and a meal together. It's much appreciated. I just wanted to thank the Girl Scout troop for that.
Absolutely.
For the month, we had a total of, for the year, I should say, 3,104 calls for service through the end of April. And during April, we had 797 calls for service. During that month, we also issued 133 citations, and we are still averaging with our call numbers, one call or contact per hour. So the folks are still staying busy out there and doing what we need them to do to keep everybody safe. Unless anybody has any questions, that's all I have.
Any questions?
The new squad is due when?
New squad is due next month. I don't have an exact date, but I did get a VIN number from Ewald, so I know it's got a frame and it's supposed to be being built, so.
Please be sure to thank the full team for all of this. Certainly appreciate their service.
One last thing that has been a big ticket item that some may have heard or may not have heard about is the Walworth County radio system. It just struck me as I was getting walked away. We have now switched over. We are no longer on a private East Troy channel. Both the village and the town today switched. We're on what's called Law 3. And in the next week or two, we will be receiving a full complimentary set of our new portables, and they will be reprogramming the squad radios to the new digital system. So we went online with the sheriff's office today, along with the village. So I know that was, just guessing, a $25 million project that the county took on, and I know through ARPA funds, they helped us purchase these very expensive digital radios, and they're now being put into service. So I just wanted to give an update on that.
Good.
Does that mean DPW's on it as well?
Not
Is
yet.
the plan, right?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Okay.
So we're gonna slowly implement each municipality and then us. Yeah, these guys are a little more important than us.
And the fire district as well?
No, it's just law enforcement right now. And the reason that we ended up getting on the front end with the sheriff's office is we were one of 3 agencies that had our own channel through Walworth County Dispatch. So us, the village, and the village of Fontana, they basically turned off our channel and switched us over. So that was the easiest to do because we were using our own channel but using county dispatch services.
Will this make a smoother relay of calls?
When everything is said and done, it's a lot of technical that the easiest way for me to explain it is the analog system, the old system, and the new system, the digital system, are tied together. So right now, the radio that I currently have is an analog radio, but I can still talk to dispatch. It's just not as crystal clear like we're talking.
Okay.
The new digital system, on the new digital portables that some of the guys are carrying, it sounds like you're standing next to each other. So that's right now that's the transition that's going on.
And it'll mean fewer dropouts?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good news.
Okay. Chairman, sure.
My report is in the packet. Are there any questions on the ETA EST report? It's pretty basic. Hearing none, go ahead and go on.
I do plan to attend the workshop. I don't think the dates have been set up yet. I saw his report said something about the workshops he's still trying to set up. And then there was an Ehlers and Stryker proposal that were not
That's
attached.
for was discussion only,
Ah.
for consideration for the 2026 budget. It wasn't anything that we took action on, it was just discussion.
Okay.
As advice from the lawyer, because it includes contract negotiations, which would have been done in closed session, that was not forwarded on.
I know the village uses Ellers for budget, and I think they were talking about trying to bring in the East Troy Area Fire District into that. Is that what that was for?
It was.
Budgeting? Yeah.
But nothing would happen until we did the budget, until the budget was done by the fire district for
Right.
26.
Right. Understood. Anything else for Supervisor Church? Okay, so we have the Parks Committee.
The Parks Committee just met prior to this meeting this evening, so, we did not have official minutes or anything included in the packet. That'll be in next month. And then the Booth Lake Memorial Park report minutes are in the packet. Oh, I'm sorry.
Just, you wanna give them the date for the next planning, or park? So Chairman has it.
Committee is.
Has been set for
5/21 at 10 a.m.?
5/21 at 10 a.m. Well, that's next week.
Okay.
Sorry. And then, Booth Lake is attached, the end of this month is the swim race triathlon that's happening. They are expecting bigger turnout than last year. And then you may have noticed in the, newsletter, we have the opportunity for people to sponsor a picnic table at Booth Lake, for a $400 donation, or $450 with a plaque or commemorative name on it. That's it for Booth Lake.
Would that be a new picnic table?
It would
or
be a
one
new
that's
picnic
there?
table.
So a new picnic
Yes,
table.
to add to the picnic tables. There are some that need to be destroyed this year that are old.
400 or 450.
Correct.
Lake Beulah Management Report, next.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Sure, you mean for Craig? Yeah. Okay.
I knew it.
There was no report submitted or anything, no? Yeah.
I'm sorry, I did not realize a report was requested. Very little going on. A lot of you know, we had a test scheduled. We were able to rent a wake surf boat. We used a local residence boat. We were studying the effects of propeller downwash on the bottom of the lake, or potential effects of propeller downwash on the bottom of the lake. Unfortunately, our boat, our rented surf boat had mechanical, so we were not able to test the boats on the same day. But we tested the stern drive boat on Tuesday and tested the surf boat on Wednesday. Very capable local boat captain for us, and we expect to have results, and would very much like to present those results to this town board in the future. Maybe preliminary results end of next week, but we'd like to request some additional time to get on your agenda, maybe next month. That's all, thank you.
Okay, Recycling Committee.
Yes, the town of East Troy Recycling Committee met 18 April at 10 a.m. as posted. The recycling program accomplishments and actual costs annual report for RUs was completed and submitted with a confirmation number assigned. Meeting adjourned. The number 2, the e-cycling event on 3rd of May resulted in a dumpster being close to full, which was better than it has been the last few times. So that is all I have on recycling.
Okay. Any questions? So then we're into the library report.
All right, the library report, actually, there is no report tonight as the library board meets tomorrow, Tuesday, 13 May at 4:15 PM. A full report will follow at our next meeting regarding the 13 May meeting of the library board.
Okay, any questions? So now we're into the planning commission report. Supervisor Johnner.
The planning commission convened May 7th. We had 3 items to discuss, all of which passed unanimously. Starting at the top, I'd like to make a motion to approve the planning commission's recommendation to approve a conditional use amendment for PET 21000004D N8416 County Road ES, your personal gardener and arborist, James Cheesebro.
I'll second.
For the reasons. Per the reasons referenced in the.
Per the reasons referenced in the planning commission's resolution.
I'll second.
Any discussion?
Yes, Joe. I noticed that the applicant's name on the resolution is spelled incorrectly. There should be another E between the S and the B.
So now we have to,
Multiple times.
we have to do it with edits.
This isn't the one that goes to the county, though. We'll make sure it gets
Right, we'll
corrected.
just get cleaned up. I just wanted to bring it to,
So he doesn't need to say with
No.
edits or, okay. So do we have a second?
Yeah, I
Yes.
second.
Oh, you
I
second.
second.
Any discussion?
basically, he's just adding lane twos over his existing bunker bays. Hopefully all of you watched the meeting, but pretty straightforward.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That one's approved.
Next one up, we have, I'd like to make a motion to approve the planning commission's recommendation to approve a variance request for PET 90004A N 9228 East Shore Road, Lake Beulah Dynamic Duo LLC, Lulabelle's Dockside, owner Jeff Obberger. Applicant per the reasons referenced in the planning commission's resolution.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes. So we're on to the last one.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the planning commission's recommendation to approve a rezone request amendment to the 2050 comprehensive plan for PET 50003A W2006 County Road J, James R. Taylor and Sons, owner Thomas Stelling, applicant per the reasons referenced in the planning commission's resolution.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
And I'll
Opposed?
recuse myself.
On this one?
Yes.
Okay, so,
In
Jean,
our relationship with the applicant.
yes. Jean, did you, all right. So that's 401. So I think we're done with planning commission, correct?
Yes, sir.
So now we're into unfinished business, which I think you had.
I did. I just, am I good to go here?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. In the past, we had some, I had some concerns of town board members just posting stuff out onto social media on our town letterhead and representing the town board, or the town of East Troy. So I started to put a social media policy together. I sent it out to everyone today. I didn't really get any response from anybody that I saw. So this was really kind of a rough draft. And I guess I wanted to hear everyone's thoughts.
I like it.
If we need to add to, take away, Attorney Mills.
I thought it was good.
Okay.
I just
Did you
didn't
see
want
this?
to respond, for quorum.
Yeah. Did you see this line item 6 that I put in? I think I put that in after the email was sent. And then I
Social
put,
media post.
signature spot on the back. We don't have to do this tonight. We can table it till next meeting and then I'll have it completely done.
No, I think that's fine.
Okay.
So the intent is for each of the board members and nominate all of them. Appointed official.
and elected.
Yes, to sign it and have a record on file with the clerk.
Correct.
We didn't get a copy, so I have no idea.
Oh, I didn't include you.
Oh, you did.
I'm sorry.
Have no idea.
Well, should we table this till next month and we can get Gene and Kim involved?
And then put it on the agenda
Put it on the
to
agenda
approve it.
to approve, yeah.
I'm
Okay,
with
I'll
it.
make a motion that we table, line item 9A until next meeting.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's tabled.
Thank you for putting it together.
Yes. So then, there is a resolution for 2025-03 for the 2026 annual meeting.
Would you like me to read it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Resolution 2025-03, scheduling next year's annual meeting. Whereas the town of East Troy, Walworth County, Wisconsin, pursuant to the provisions of the Wisconsin statutes, has conducted its annual meeting on the 15th day of April 2025. And whereas the electors of the town of East Troy have considered the question on the 2026 annual meeting, now therefore be it hereby resolved by the electors of the town of East Troy in annual session that the 2026 annual meeting be conducted on the 21st day of April 2026 at the hour of 6:30 p.m. at the Town Hall campus for the town of East Troy, Walworth County, Wisconsin. And it is hereby further resolved that the town clerk is hereby directed to publish notice of said annual meeting as a Class 2 notice pursuant to the provisions of Chapter 985 of the Wisconsin statutes and is provided for in Section 60.11 Wisconsin stats, dated this 12th day of May, 2025.
I make a motion to approve the resolution 2025-3, scheduling the 2026 annual meeting.
Second.
Any discussion?
Can we bypass this? Is that a second reading we need or no?
That's only for ordinances.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, the resolution passes. So now we're into clean sweep. Kim,
I sent everybody a copy of the memo from the county asking for donations to their county clean sweep. We always put $200 in the budget, which has been approved to do this. I know we've had discussion on it in the past, but it's something that our residents take advantage of.
I took oil down there last year. So,
I've taken cyanide,
yeah.
so.
Go ahead.
I'll make a motion that we approve a $200 donation to the Walworth County Clean Sweep Program for 2025. Second.
Any discussion?
I think that since we don't do that here at the town ourselves, that it is, sends a very positive message that we support the county's efforts in doing this.
We
And it
couldn't afford to do
encourages-
it here.
No.
Right, it encourages our citizens to use it.
Yeah, the only thing that would be nice is they would set when you could go in. The lines were ridiculous last year. But, okay, any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? $200. So, next on the agenda, Is this a motion? Do I make a motion for the vice? Okay, so I'm going to make a motion to appoint Supervisor Reyes as vice chair for the 2025 term.
I will
Second. I beat him.
Joe. Any, any
problem.
discussion? In favor, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. So we have appointments. So, one thing I asked was for, since I just got into office the 15th, I've been working very hard for 3 weeks to meet everybody else but the Planning Commission. And so I'm going to try and take May to talk with the Planning Commission members and come back in June and finish the appointments for Planning Commission. Until that time, Planning Commission 2024 appointments will continue on, and Jen and the Planning Commission are aware of that. So, do I make this motion, or should somebody else make the motion?
Anybody can make a
Okay,
motion.
I'm gonna make a motion to approve the 2025-04 resolution appointing,
Oh, no, we're still on D.
oh, I'm sorry,
Postponing.
postponing Planning Commission appointments until the June Town Board meeting.
Second.
Any discussion?
Is this something that's regulated by the state? How is this? Because when I talked to the Towns Association, they had actually indicated to me that this was supposed to be done in April. So I don't know.
They told me the same thing.
Okay.
I just got started in April 15th, so.
No, I totally
After the
understand.
Um,
And I didn't want to usurp your authority.
No,
It had always been done in April in the past, and then I'm not sure how many years ago it got changed to May. But the Plan Commission, you can table.
Do we have a local ordinance that our appointments are done in May? Or-
I don't know if it's in the code or not.
Each one of these, you can see the ordinance is written, officials are 2025-10, town committees are 20.4010, and then town reps are 2040-010 as well. So, and then planning commission is 2.80. I don't remember if it actually says May. I don't know that it does. I don't know.
Or April, it should say.
It should say April. I mean, my intention was, knowing that fact after I talked to the Towns Association, that we should probably do that. It would probably make it easier for any incoming chairman too.
That's what I'm wondering, if we need to do something, can we do something, Attorney Mills, locally to say that it will be May every year? Because our monthly meeting
Right.
is before the annual meeting in April, when we re-elect all of the officers, or a portion of the officers.
I think that's why it got changed last time, actually.
So that if
Do
they-
When we went to a 5-person board, that's probably when the change happened.
Right.
If I can find statutory authority for it, then we can do it. Towns only have the authority that's given by statute.
I've heard various conversations throughout the past couple of weeks that the reason that it was done in May instead of in April was to allow, like, potentially a new chairperson to do it. However, there was comment about having the previous chairperson do it because they had a history and knew the players and things such as that for all the appointments. And then the next year, the new chairman would do it. I just had heard conversation surrounding that from various people.
But that would
I
only,
think it should be May. Personally, I think May is a
I'm
good.
just throwing that in there.
if that was the reasoning given, that would only leave a newly elected chairperson 1 year for appointments instead of the 2.
Yeah.
So why don't we,
Well,
maybe next
Authorize
month
you.
authorize me to do that. It's not listed, it's not one of the, ordinance numbers listed on here for updating.
I call the question.
Is, Kim, do you take note of that so it's on the agenda next time, or do we have, okay.
Yep.
All right, and so we're, did
There's
I
a
already?
first and a second.
Yeah.
So,
On postponing the planning commission.
right. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, so we're postponing it till June. I appreciate it, thank you. Now we get to the resolution. So I'm going to appoint, the list is in the packet, so I make a motion to approve resolution number 2025-4, approving town appointments, all except planning commission appointments.
I will second.
Discussion? You might want to change the language on here, to date it back to April.
Oh,
It's non-pro-tunc is what, is the
so,
language on here
so how do
that you
you,
can add.
add the language to it, that it's, so that we're per statute?
Yes, the only question I have about that is you were not sworn in on
Right.
time, and these are your appointments.
Right. It would
And I
have-
guess the question is, like, the last 3 or 4 years, we've done it in May. We've set precedent since we became a 5-person board.
Well, whether it's precedent or not, it has to be authorized.
So we were not authorized the last 4 years.
That's what I have to look for, if we had authority to do that, to push it off.
And that's not something we can give you authority to tonight because it wasn't recognized?
Right. It wasn't posted.
Okay. So what should we do with this then?
Approve it,
So is my.
except for plan commission.
So
Yeah.
the motion's on the floor, I'll
And
second.
Right.
Oh, okay.
I think Ty
He's
seconded.
seconded, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right. So, that's done.
Yeah, otherwise we'd be pushing it off to June, even a month later.
And then I wouldn't have to work so hard over the last 3 weeks. So now, something I wanted to give a little, this agenda item is mine, and I wanted to offer a little introductory comments before we get to this, to introduce it and present what we might be able to do tonight or not. As I pondered the electors' meeting on 4/15 and the advisory vote on wake boats, I found a few details extremely interesting and worth pointing out before we get into any actions we might consider tonight. Buoys are an accepted method and standard to provide navigational guidance to watercraft and ships everywhere for many years. However, I heard someone say we tried buoys in the past and they just won't work. Don't understand that comment at the electors meeting. The town includes reasonably affluent and educated citizenry, yet I heard some people say education and enforcement will not work. Seems counterintuitive to me because that's how we function in every other area of society that I've seen. That's why we have universities. To take anyone's rights away without exhaustively deploying every tool in the toolbox seems irresponsible and extreme. I know LBMD just discussed deploying buoys in their last meeting, but PLB is promoting a full ban before buoys can be deployed. 4, the voting container appeared to contain 30 to 50% of the ballots by the time I arrived soon after 6 p.m. And it was clearly over 50% full by the time we started the meeting at 7:30 p.m. So clearly, there was a lot of voting. They came in, they ran out, and didn't hear all the discussions that took place that might have had an impact on the vote. The vote of the electors meeting was premature because sufficient time was not provided to all electors to educate themselves independently. To only provide one source for education to the public lends itself to potential bias, and this single source has heavily concentrated on promoting a ban. We need to make sure irrefutable, solid data drives us towards outcomes, recommendations, solutions, and actions. My objective is to turn down the temperature, slow down the rhetoric, and bring our community back together to discuss this issue thoughtfully and arrive at some recommendations to address everyone's concerns. Over the past 4 years, 4 months, we have heard from many on both sides of this discussion. I received numerous emails yet this week, which I passed along. Most people have indicated most important aspect of this discussion is to protect the environment. I think everybody's unanimously focused on that detail. They have also asked to be included in the discussion, and many have expressed their desire to work together to find some consensus. I ask for everyone to take a breath, refocus your energy on identifying root causes, and coming together in mutual respect to recommend some common sense, meaningful solutions. To make sure everyone understands the legal ramifications of any decision by the board, I have included a 4-page document which explains the state statutes and the Constitution that need to be considered by the board as we go into this. Let me point it out here. The public was also copied on this, so it's the 4-page Excel like this. I'll go into that in a minute. There are one or more board actions that could be taken tonight. We could take action on a decision to implement some ordinance change, but I'm not sure we are at this point yet. Well, there's also some testing going on, right? Based upon the information presented and discussed to date, we could decide to take no action at this time and wait for some action by the state. We were informed through Facebook that May 28th, there's going to be the Senate presidents pulling together people on both sides of this with Representative DeCow, Speaker Voss, and a few other individuals. Not sure where that's going to lead. I'm not sure that they're going to come to any conclusion in this meeting, but we could wait. We could vote to form the Lake and Shoreline Conservation Committee to study the possible causes to many of the symptoms identified and ask the committee to provide recommendations to the board. If we vote tonight to establish the committee, then I would work to interview and identify members so we can appoint these members at the June board meeting and launch the committee. So like I said, we can take no action, we can appoint a committee, we could, that's kind of where we are at this point. One quick thing before we get into it, I've provided this ahead to everybody, so I'm hoping we don't have a ton of discussion, but if we do, please ask questions. Just for everybody's education purpose, the state constitution, Article 9, Section 1, Public Trust Doctrine. It's very short. It's a very short little 2 paragraphs. I have links in the document. If you can't get it off there because it was copied, maybe you can't, we can put it out somehow. But these links are live. It takes you right there. This public trust doctrine is the Constitution. So if you look at the federal law, then there's the state constitution, then there's statutes that come out of the legislature, and the rest of us are governed under state statute. So just understand, that's got a pretty high, powerful emphasis in any decision we have to make. The town itself is formed under Chapter 60. The Lake District, Lakeview Management District, and PLB, or Potter's Lake, Protection and Rehabilitation District, so Potter's Lake in here. And Army, I don't believe Army has a district, but they're all formed under Chapter 33, Public Inland Waters. And so that means anything to do with the lake and the water should be driven by the Lake District. The only place that between the Lake District and the town that we overlap is in the ordinance establishment, because the governing body of the Lake District cannot impose ordinances. So they have to come to the town. Now, there is Chapter 30 at the end, which is the state DNR. They regulate navigatable waters, harbors, and navigation. There is a section in there that specifies very specific things that can be set. Buoys, clockwise rotation, there's a list of 4 or 5 things like that that can be set between the Lake District and the town. And you'll notice we have an ordinance to that effect already in our ordinances. Protect Lake Beulah is formed under Chapter 281 and 181. And that is, not sure, non-stock corporations, water and sewage. I'm not sure why that title's on there, but that's what Protect Lake Beulah is formed under. And then the DNR is under Chapter 30. So I would recommend to everyone just trying to get educated on all the statutory requirements that we're going to have to deal with in making any kind of decision. At this point, I wasn't going to read this. Effectively, I was just going to open it up to the board. What are your thoughts? Do you want to table this? Do you want to vote on something?
I have a comment.
Oh, we don't need a motion first. We can discuss first, probably. We good with that? Okay, go ahead.
In January, Supervisor Reyes asked for data specific to Lake Beulah. I
Right.
also asked what specific changes were being cited and how those changes to the lake were being measured. Hearing what was asked, the Lake Beulah Management District, along with the Lake Beulah Protective Improvement Association, or PLB, have hired terravisualists to provide data specific to Lake Beulah.
Yep.
At this time, I believe it would be premature to form a committee before those results are shared. I think we really need to see that. I also believe that to remove any bias, the individual groups chosen to form this town committee should determine their own members and not be chosen by the town. I also believe that a representative from the police department should serve on this committee, but only in an advisory capacity, as they are paid to enforce our ordinances.
So, I did say on the committee on here that the police department should definitely be a part of it.
Yeah, but I think they should be defined as advisory.
Okay.
I don't think they should be voting on an ordinance that they have to enforce.
Second point you brought up. I was a public citizen before this 15th. And as a public citizen, I came forward multiple times. And I spoke to a couple of individuals that said, before you launch a study on Lake Beulah, include all the stakeholders up front so that the study is established, so that everybody's going to believe the outcome, or at least consider the outcome as valid. I was told terravigilus is expert, and they're going to be able to do it. I still believe that is a mistake. I think if we're gonna reach across the aisle and bring everybody together, then we should have looked at the study up front together and made sure it was gonna cover everything we wanted. That's just my opinion at this point. So I hear what you're saying, but I also had requested at least 3 times for other people to be involved in that, and I never got invited, and I don't know that anybody else was. So, any other thoughts or comments?
I guess I would agree that I would, still, to my point earlier, that I would like to see specific data. unique to Lake Beulah management. But I don't think that should delay, identifying individuals, understanding the impact. I think this is very good data, right, that we all now have to consume as far as all of the different impacts and factors. I think there's plenty of work to do in addition to waiting for the results, in identifying the correct people. And so I like the idea of making an informed decision, with all parties represented.
Can I ask one question? I was really surprised in your chart that you did not include the responsible voters group, because even though they're not state sanctioned, they have definitely been a part of the conversation, and I just thought it would have included them.
Okay, the reason why I don't think it's appropriate to have the respective parties appoint their own people on this is because we have people on one side saying ban it, and we have people on the other side saying do nothing. I don't want those people on a committee. I want people that can, I think I said that in here, I want people in here that can look at data and their minds can be swayed by data. That's what I've asked. And that's why I summarized it that way in here. I think I made a comment to that effect. So,
Chairman?
Yes, sir.
Recognized. I believe that the town would actually have to vote to create this committee before you can start interviewing people for a committee that does not exist.
right. That's why it was sort of brought up here. Again, it can be tabled if we want the next, it wasn't brought up here to force a vote. It was brought up here to force this discussion. That's what it's here for. So if we want to table it, I'm more than happy to do that, and then we will delay the appointments. So,
Well, I think I agree with Supervisor Church on, let's get the information in first before we create this committee and everything. I don't know.
This is a really tough topic.
It's very, very tough.
It is.
Well, and I'm
Yeah.
wondering if the
And there's,
meeting with
you
the
know-
state reps, if an assembly bill or something will come out of that meeting.
I don't know. Judging by what they've done for the last 2 years, I'm not gonna hold my breath.
It's been there before, they just didn't act on it.
Right. No, there was even a proposal last session, there was even a proposal with specific items, and they just it never went to committee, so.
Also, as far as the advisory vote, I agree with you, Chairman Jones, on with the votes being put into the box before anything was even said, people are walking in. I've heard that there was people from the town of Troy there, there was
They were
not
not allowed to
town
vote
of
on
East
it.
Troy.
They did not receive ballots, they did not vote.
Okay, well, I'm telling you what I heard outside of this room, people that I know said, oh yeah, my wife was there, she voted and left. But whatever, it was advisory, and it was for all the lakes in our town, so, whatever. It's still, this is a big thing, I'm scared, I'm not gonna lie. I just, I don't know which way to go here, but, I'm not anywhere close to making a decision on any of this tonight, so I'll make a motion that we table this until, the June meeting, and we can discuss more at that point.
I'll second.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
All right. It's delayed.
If anybody wants that information, go to clerk and administrative offices on town website, email me, Deputy Clerk Treasurer, and I can email it back to you.
The links are active on that PDF.
I tried on my phone just now to see, so I will investigate that. But if anybody is interested, let me know. I'll tell you if they're active, or we can email you a copy of it.
Yeah, I
Just
worked
so you
pretty
know,
hard to
it-
make sure it was, so
Yeah.
I'm hoping you find they're good.
I'm not sure how it went through the scan. On the PDF, yes, they
Yeah.
will work on that. Yes, absolutely. If you want a hard copy of it, there'll be a charge for it.
But it's not gonna be, it's not gonna be
It's in the
used.
packet. They can print it.
Yeah, it's in the packet.
Yeah.
If they want that, the links are what are
Yeah,
most important.
That's why getting an email is the best.
Right.
Going on.
Okay, so that is tabled. So, discussion and possible action of implementing a consent agenda. One of my objectives, sitting in your spot, was to, what, did I miss something?
Yeah.
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 Number one. Discussion.
Oh, number one, I'm sorry. Discussion and possible action to authorize Chairman Jones,
And I think that's
But
not
that,
applicable,
that's
right?
negated because we tabled.
Okay.
So,
Right.
right, so that's not happening. Okay, discussion and possible action, implementing a consent agenda. I sent, this document to everybody early, so I'm hoping at least from the board level, we've had discussion, or you've studied enough that we can have a meaningful discussion here.
I'll make a motion that we approve implementing a consent agenda for the Town of East Troy Board.
Second.
Okay, I'm gonna add some discussion. So,
That's what we do, right?
Yeah.
Motion,
so we gotta decide what goes in there, right?
Right.
And not all of this may go in there, so, are we good with everything in green? Or italics?
I liked everything that you had myself.
Well, like
I agree.
Kim, you mentioned the treasurer's report may not be by statute able to be in a consent agenda?
I do not believe so,
Okay,
so.
you think so too?
I don't know offhand, but I would
Yeah,
probably suggest you keep that separate anyway.
yeah.
I think so. I've seen most meetings of organizations, they always have a treasurer's report, so I'm
So we're
thinking.
pulling the treasurer's report out?
Yep.
Okay.
So the other so any other items on here, the chairperson's reports, the media report, park, Booth Lake, Lake Beulah Management District, recycling, library, building inspections, permitting, municipal court.
The only question I had, if I may,
Yep.
is, I assume you talked to Kim, 6 days, 6 business days? in
Oh,
advance?
I-
Is that?
Well, okay,
Let's-
you're on to something else.
I do have a comment about
Oh,
the building
I'm ahead of
inspection and
myself.
permitting permit, I don't think should be public knowledge.
Okay, should they be in the, here? I-
There- Yeah, that would be required in an ordinance change.
Pass them down. Oh, here, give me one.
You want one?
No, this is for you. I'm not suggesting, that those reports necessarily go in the public packet, but they could go in the,
And they certainly could, but depending on when Jean receives the information from the building inspector is when it gets done. It's not necessarily gonna be done before a board meeting. He shoots for the 10th, sometimes we don't get it till the 25th.
but if it's in the next one,
But no, but if she can email it when she completes
Oh.
it, she could just email it to the board, and it wouldn't even have to go into it wouldn't have to be an ordinance change, it wouldn't be in a packet, it would just be, you all would get your information, if you had questions, you can reach out to
Yeah.
Vince.
so,
Yeah.
the main reason why, one of the, if you look at the town and the way we function, there's two elements that have not been reported really, and that's what we do at the municipal court and what we do with inspections. So,
Two sources of income.
two sources of income, and there's a reasonable amount of work that's going on in those two areas. So, all I did was ask Kim and Jen, no, I think these both are used.
they
Yeah,
came
they're
from
both
me.
used. But you can see like 2024 on the one side has every month for the whole year for the municipal court collections. And it shows what we get to keep and what goes out to the Walworth County, what goes to the state. It's not a trivial task, but it represents where we at. Total collected was 155,000.
And 2 chiefs ago, Chief Surges, that was his police report. That's what he would tell. He would say, you know, this much was
This.
collected in fines for the town portion.
Right.
He didn't really say anything else about,
He jumped to the conclusion.
right, right.
All right. But you can see where we're at on the second report.
But it is in
And that
the
can-
general
that could go under-
fund budget.
That can also go under my treasurer's report. I can just include it with the treasurer's report,
Or in the police report.
or in the police report. But
And
it's
then we
something
don't have to
I,
add
yeah,
building inspection or municipal court, because
Yeah.
that's gonna require an ordinance change.
Does everyone find this information helpful or not? If we don't have to even talk about it, but I thought.
It's all in the general fund report though.
yeah, it's all included in the general fund.
Yeah, which we
This
get
is
in our
revenues.
packet every month.
But you don't know what's happening through the court.
Sure you do, it's right here. General fund, right here. Year-to-date, $15,493, right?
Yeah, it's in the detailed
And
revenue and
then,
expenditure.
boat launch,
There it is.
That, yeah, boat launch revenue, it's all in the
Right.
detailed revenue expenditure for that report that you get quarterly.
Yeah, but that number doesn't, so what are you, March?
yeah,
So as of March, you're showing what?
15,493.62.
This says sev-
Year-to-date actual, yep.
It's 2025 and this year report 2024 or 25.
Oh,
Oh, he's
25.
looking at the 25.
I didn't know.
Says 17,933.87. So I'm not sure.
But there's,
It changes daily.
it does,
Right.
it does. It, and
So, you see what I'm saying?
what
So this
happens
wraps
Well,
too-
my point is, we do have that information in front of us.
I just
But
brought
we're
it,
saying it's wrong.
no.
No, what's in
no,
your
it's-
quarterly detail and revenue expenditure is correct. What's on those sheets includes what we physically get, plus that report is Jen's report, a summary of Jen's report. But, like, if someone pays a reopening fee of $50, that's additional income, that's why it's higher. If someone pays an overage of $3.50, the town keeps, we don't refund $3.50. So it's not always the same.
It's not
And
always
it's not
the-
going to be.
It's just activity, it's trending activity. If it's not useful, we don't have to do it. I wanted to just bring it to your attention because I asked the question. The permitting I thought was interesting because you can see plumbing, electrical, HVAC, and then he has a total of what he's doing. So we contract that service through Vince. So I just brought it to your attention.
Can I make a suggestion?
Sure.
Maybe under chairman report, quarterly, you can have Vince come in and give quarterly totals.
No.
No?
I can email them the report every time I get one.
Right.
But I think what Chairman Jones might want to do is make that information known to the public.
I was trying to head down that path.
But it is available in the detailed revenue expenditure, which is in the packet. So it's
Perhaps we
there.
could do the summary report.
And in almost
Not the details
21
that
years, no one has ever called me and asked me about building permit reviews.
Guess what? I
He's
was the
wanted
first
to.
one.
Yeah.
But I mean, we could maybe do a summary report
Okay.
and not the details.
So do I need to change
change my motion then?
I don't know what your motion was.
Well, my motion was to
Approve it.
approve a consent agenda.
Consent
But
agenda.
Right,
I'm
that's
gonna
why-
have to,
Yeah.
well, right,
What are we gonna
Chairman, but we
include?
have to make a motion and then discuss, right, before we change.
Well, we're on the consent agenda, so we
Yeah.
can just walk through what we want on
So-
the consent.
Just
agenda.
mark
We'll
those.
do the-
Yeah.
And then do the motion, yeah.
So we wanna pull out the
Treasurer's report.
treasurer's report and the
Building inspection.
Building
building
inspection.
inspection and permitting report,
And the court collections.
and the court collection.
The last two, 11 and 12. So anything, oh, and then we have license and special event applications. Is that important to go through, or is that, would that just be a report?
I mean, you can see how they're listed on today's agenda. I mean, it would be in the consent agenda portion, they would be listed out like that.
Huh.
And basically, our former supervisor Wales would do me the honor and just approve all of them in one shot and they'd be done, which was really nice, instead of going through them individually. However, when we do licensing, which is in June, for all our alcohol licenses and operators license, that has to be separate.
It'll have to be pulled out if
Absolutely.
it's in there.
And there's usually discussion about whether the chief has reviewed it to approve the hours for noise or other considerations.
Yes.
But that could be pulled out.
That could be part of,
But they don't go on the agenda if the chief hasn't approved it.
okay.
Yeah.
Because they literally come to the
Oh.
office, go to the chief, go to Kim for the agenda.
Okay.
So they have been reviewed by the
Okay,
chief.
amend your motion.
So wait, let's just finish.
We're not allowed to.
I'm gonna use the gavel here pretty soon. So we're pulling out the treasurer's report, we're pulling out the building inspection, we're pulling out municipal court. We're gonna leave license and special events, and then if we get to permitting, they can be pulled out. And, I mean, even Kim, if that has to, it could just be pulled out automatically.
Right, and it
for
would
the
be,
permitting.
especially for our June meeting, yeah.
Right. And special and pending meetings, is there a reason to go through that?
Just read them so everybody is aware. That's,
So what do you?
but it certainly could be
stay in
part of
there.
consent agenda. It
So
wouldn't
take-
have to be read. But then I have like, oh, somebody will say, well, I have a meeting here this time, you know, so.
Right, coordinating at the end when we close, that's another whole issue, but that's really,
I
are
would
we,
like to keep that in regular,
That's
I
fine.
think, so we,
Yeah.
cause there is always something like parks come up or where someone doesn't
Fire
have something
district or
added.
something,
Yeah.
or
I-
somebody had to postpone their meeting because of
Right.
such and such, and then it,
It always seems like there's an issue with that.
yeah.
so
Remove.
are we removing special and pending meetings, everybody, general
Just
agreement?
stay in there and then you just-
Okay. I just wanna get going on this.
I know, That's-
Let's go.
Sorry,
So-
but do we wanna include the approvals of all the meeting minutes? You said maybe that, if we get the packets earlier, we email and
Oh,
edits to
that-
that?
approval of minutes from previous session, special meetings,
Yeah,
they
that's
should
enough.
be included, that's,
The thing I don't like about that is, if everyone on their own is gonna comment about changes that they found, you're going to have that same walking quorum issue if everyone is sharing what everyone thinks needs to be changed.
or if they fire them to her and then it's
Send them to me.
5 different.
Or if it's planning commission, it goes to Jen,
Jen.
and that's it.
Yeah.
You can't copy everybody else. And you could BCC everybody else, they couldn't respond because then they would see that you already caught that one and not give you 5 of the same edits. Is that fair?
That would be fair.
Yeah, I mean, I can do that and go back and forth. Because if I blind copy, I can say, okay, this was corrected, this was corrected.
Well,
Yeah.
and you had a good suggestion here that you can take matters out of the consent agenda if you
Yes.
want to discuss them at the board level.
Right.
Right.
So,
And is
I think
that
that could
done
work
at the
then.
meeting here? Like
Yes.
when we approve the agenda, we
Yes.
remove it at that time?
yes.
Okay.
I like it.
So we're
Okay.
leaving,
Motion.
we're leaving the minutes. Approval of the minutes, see that's in green there. So we're leaving that in. We're taking out treasurer's report, building inspection, municipal court, and special and pending meetings.
Okay.
Anything else we want to throw in there? Planning commission, what, we want to leave that as a discussion point?
Yes.
I think that
Okay.
should be.
It should be.
Absolutely.
No, I know, I'm just trying to trigger some conversation.
No.
Is that it? We're good?
Yep, we're good.
All right, I will rescind my original
No,
motion.
amend it, just amend it. with the
Okay,
changes.
I will amend my,
Well, it was seconded, so if he's gonna
I will
withdraw it-
rescind my
I
motion.
rescind mine too.
I will make a motion to approve a consent agenda for the Town of East Troy Board to include minutes from previous sessions, special meeting minutes, not plan,
Yeah.
chairperson and supervisor reports, media and IT report, park committee report, Booth Lake Memorial Park Board report, Lake Beulah Management District report, recycling committee report, library report, license and special event applications.
Second.
Any other discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So we'll have a consent agenda next month. Kim, the treasurer's report, is that document that we all got, is that always the same? It's always been up here?
Yep.
All right, I understand. I didn't see that, so, yes.
And I don't know how the consent agenda, functions with regard to getting written reports.
Oh, that is a good point. And we had some
Y'all
people,
are gonna have to do 'em.
they're gonna have to send written reports, yeah. So that, like, Lake Beulah Management District, recycling, the library should be just board minutes. I don't, to go through this every time when there's minutes from their board meeting, there should be no reason for us to have that additional discussion. So yeah, that is gonna impose that reports are gonna have to be submitted, and I think I also suggested in there that anything, I gotta make sure I don't get ahead of my,
Well, you have your resolution appointing people, so you can reach out to them and say,
yeah.
the board approved a consent agenda for next month, you need to start.
Well,
submitting
it
written
wouldn't go
reports.
in effect till July because you have to amend the ordinance. Bring an ordinance back to them in June,
That's true.
So that it won't go into effect until July.
July.
I was just wondering, I didn't think about that, is that gonna affect like John?
John who?
Yeah.
John Murphy?
Yes.
Yes, there,
Is it gonna affect him and how is he gonna
He has always provided me a written report.
go for it? Okay,
I will just ask him if he can give it to me ahead of time
okay.
instead of at the meeting, so that I can get it.
and I
in
think
back.
the library board meeting minutes would be sufficient, right? I mean, of the past.
He usually just gives the highlights, but I can
Right.
talk to John and Christina about that.
Just to make sure they're on board, yeah.
Yeah. And like East Troy Area Emergency Services District report, we have historically always gotten that in writing ahead of time from Chairman or Supervisor Church.
Right.
That's not part of the
That's not
consent.
part of the consent agenda though.
No.
Okay.
No, but that's another point that, I thought I had separated in here. The point being that, anything that goes on the agenda should have a memo or information in the packet. One of the things I noticed sitting in the audience was things would come up on the agenda, there was nothing in the packet, so the public didn't know to offer any input. The board members were confused and looking at each other and asking questions. My goal was to try and streamline these and everybody come in prepared. So everything will have to have an insert in the packet in order for it to come on the agenda. And I think that's just a fair way to operate. So the treasurer's report has already been, I didn't know that was in the board's packet. I don't know.
There are occasions because depending when the second Monday happens, like because, like the LGIP, I can't get that any way earlier than when they post it, which is always on the 7th of the month. So if the 7th is the town board, that's why they're on the desk, when you come in and not included in a packet earlier.
Okay. I mean, otherwise, we just discuss it the next meeting, right? There's nothing time sensitive to it either, right?
No.
So, I mean, I think it would just streamline if we only have one or two pieces of paper here, it's maybe not so bad. But when it's a stack of new pieces of paper, that's when it becomes onerous, and I know I wasn't up for that.
So under G1, are you requesting that Kim do something different than she's already doing?
No, I don't think I am.
Okay.
The only question would be whether it's included in the public packet or not, and I don't know that it matters. That would be the only other thing. I mean, is there any thoughts on that?
No, I think it's
different.
At one time, it included account numbers, but I've removed them. So
Right.
that was obviously not public information,
No.
so.
Well, that's why I ask. I don't know what should be public or not public. I just know, sitting out in the audience, I would hear you rattle off numbers, and I couldn't write down fast enough. I didn't know what we were talking about, so it just would make it easier for everybody. Do we?
We discussed it, we can move on, right?
Yeah. Discussion, possible action, implement written summaries. I think complex topics, I think Todd was trying to do that here tonight, even putting that in. And I would ask, do the best you can, because that last time we were talking about 3 different bids, and the board members were asking, okay, what'd you say? And it just became cumbersome and hard to follow. Go ahead.
Can I add on? Like tonight, Todd, like that caught me completely off guard, and if you could have just written a page, like, hey, guys, this is what's going on, this is why that's coming in front of you, you know, that way, you know, we can kind of see that. Because like, I'm like, what is this tractor, what's going on, like.
And this happens so quick.
Yeah, no,
I was off and we've been busy with this sewer project.
Yeah.
And I would try, when stuff comes up like that, to get it to you. I always try to get it to you guys as quick as I can.
You can
At least
always
get something
request that,
down, but I'll try and get
because
something.
DPW is an employee of the town.
I just don't like sitting up here looking like it's your deer in the headlights.
That if you want.
Which I do anyways, but.
So, now, with all that discussion, I gave you the sample reports. We have to authorize Attorney Mills to update ordinances 2240 and 50 per the approved consent agenda.
I'll make a motion to authorize Attorney Mills to update ordinance 2.20.040 and 2.20.050 per approved changes.
Second.
Any additional discussion?
We can waive the 2 months, right? So this can get done by next month if he has it written up, right?
Sorry, nope.
You guys are the ones that made me change that ordinance.
Okay.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
I take that back. We're only modifying. It's not we're not creating a new ordinance, so we can limit it to 1 month.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I thought.
So glass half full as opposed to glass half empty. I understand how that works. So the last item that I had on here that I worked on was the proposal. One of the things with all the newness on the board, and just some, you know, I don't know what I don't know right now. And I'm thinking there's best practices that could be had. I know we don't have even an HR manual. We're writing an IT policy. Should we include, you know, town employees, or should we just leave it as board members and then do this assessment? So this assessment, I reached out to a couple companies just to see what this might do. And effectively, I think I've summarized in here what I wanted. Scope of work, the analysis phase, kickoff meeting to set project expectations, timeline, communication methods, and preliminary discussions. So all of us would have input. Maybe the town employees would also have input in that process. Spend physical time at the town hall. I want them to be in here. Coordinating with town staff, board members to perform interviews, identify weaknesses, evaluate the general cultural of the operation of all of us, and acquire pertinent information. Review existing town ordinances, budgeting process, procedures, policies, and any other key documents to gain an intimate understanding of how we operate. So that's sort of what I was hoping to have somebody come in. I did specify down below that I don't want a new guy off the street. I want somebody who has some town experience specifically. I would like some, I think I said 5 to 10 years experience. And I know one of the companies is David Brettel is part of, he ran the county, and I think he was the administrator down there. And he actually brought the county from in debt to completely out of debt in his tenure. And that's a big accomplishment. I know I've talked to Rick Stacy about it as well. And with some of the challenges we're having with ETA, ESD, I wanted to get something going where we're putting money away each year to plan for a 20-year purchase of a ladder truck or something. A lot of those things, I don't know what those are. It would be nice to have somebody come in and help us identify some of those things. What can we do? What can't we do? And then make a recommendation.
I have a comment here.
Yes, sir.
You're going to have to include either, well, I think if we go with Mr. Brettel and whatever firm he's with.
Well, there's two I would go just to make sure we're keeping.
He's an attorney. You're gonna need an attorney before they can review ordinances and tell us what we do or don't need. Second, they have to be aware of what the auditor requires for the audit every year.
I have audit documentation of procedures and policies.
Yeah.
All of that is in place and already done already.
No, okay, I understand. My issue is, it's a big issue, is I don't want a $2 million swing in a year. I want to plan. I want to plan. We should be able to plan. We should be able to find every road in the town. We got a border around our town. We should have every road in our town. We should lay out a plan for when we're gonna tackle those.
And he hasn't.
I haven't gotten to them yet, right? But
Or a ladder truck, or
a ladder truck,
or an ambulance, or anything like that. This goes back to our meeting about 4 months ago. I'm on board with you on it.
This I brought up now because I thought if we're gonna have any chance to get something put out, get them in, get something approved, then have them do the report, we would want it done before the budget workshops and all that stuff, if we're gonna try and plan for something. It just seemed like the appropriate time to be thinking about it. That's the only reason why I bring it up. So again, I gave it to all of you, and I'm not making any motion. I'm leaving it up.
Question?
Yes, sir.
What kind of money does this normally cost to do this?
It's probably in the $4,000 to $5,000 range.
And time frame?
And
what it
where's it
takes.
budgeted for in 2025?
I don't have it budgeted, but we haven't had trucks budgeted either. So I'm sure we can find a way to get this dealt with for $4 or
How
$5,000.
long of a procedure is this before I was interrupted?
But how do we know what the quotes are gonna come in at?
I don't.
I'm asking for an estimate.
And per our conversation that we had on Friday, I would just suggest that
That's for
before you
submissions.
went and
How long is this
spent money,
gonna be involved?
that you had a conversation with the police chief, Todd, and myself. And have another town board workshop where we all come together and we discuss and we go through all of these things.
I think that's extremely appropriate.
And also free, just saying.
I understand. What I am asking for is the ability to send out an RFP. Doesn't cost us anything. It's gonna be my time. We will get something back, hopefully with some detail as to what they might do. There's gonna provide a price for it, and we can vote to not even accept any of it. So it's not impacting us, that's all I'm looking for right now.
Can I go back to what I was asking before I was interrupted?
Yes.
Thank you. So you're saying, you think estimate 4,000 to 5,000, and then a timeline of that person, like how long does this take?
It's not going to be more than a week or two, is my expectation, but they're gonna be spending.
For one person to come in, okay.
But they're gonna be coming down here, spending time interviewing with board members, interviewing with people. Again, I don't have a specific response from them. I put something together to give everyone here an understanding of what I was looking at trying to accomplish. That's why I put this together. Michelle, or I'm sorry, Supervisor.
In addition to some of the things that have been mentioned as far as budgeting and stuff, I think when I joined the board as well, we made some changes in the staff and in hopes of like not having all this carryover and giving you time off and things like that. And so
It
I
just
think
gets
it's-
busier and busier and busier.
So I think it would be helpful to understand, like, how can we be more efficient? Because you deserve to get your time off. And, you know, Todd's team as well. We made changes. Were they the right changes that we made? Or are there other opportunities, right? But through what we did in staff. So I like the idea of a formal RFP. I like the way you've outlined the timeline with them to ask questions and things like that. I did take a look to see who we could send this to. Again, because I've talked before, this is kind of what I do. I think Eagle Hill is who you're referring to with David Bridle.
I think
No,
it's administrative.
Oh, he's the Public Admin Associates?
Yes.
Yeah, so,
Eagle Hill?
yeah, but they were, no, you're right, they were out of state, they were not local. Public Admin Associates was one, I also saw City Gate Associates. And I actually did reach out to them just to see if it would be in their scope and if they would be interested in receiving an RFP if we were to send it out. And they said yes, they would be.
Okay.
They would be similar services that they offer.
There was another name I don't have with me, but there was another name that I did pick out.
Oh, and I saw Baker Tilly also does performance optimization consulting, so.
And you get a.
Then we have a big company and a small company, yeah.
Yeah. And the management report you receive for Baker Tilly covers the financial end of it, of course. So that's already done by Baker Tilly.
Right.
Right.
So I'd like to make a motion to authorize Chairman Jones to complete the organizational assessment RFP and send them out to prospective bidders.
Second.
Were there any edits or adjustments to what I proposed?
Yes. Page 3. I think you're gonna have to change the timeline since you have more people you're supposed to be soliciting from.
I was trying to get it in by the 4th of June. That's why the timeline, I backed up from where I wanted it.
So is there gonna be like 3
three.
There'll probably be, I had at least two, I know, and I know, and you added one, so
Does the
there'll be
Towns
three.
Association have any recommendations?
They might, I can check that.
And it would be super helpful if whoever it is has specifically done towns. Because
That's-
village and cities are
Right, different.
completely different animals.
So,
But I would think maybe you could get it out by the end of the
Exactly.
week, right?
what's that?
You could potentially get it out by the end of the week if I share some names with you as well.
Yeah, I wrote it so that it's a few tweaks and I should be able to get them out.
Right, I don't think you voted to approve the 4-page document, you just
Right.
approved in general to authorize him to do it, so.
But without this, you wouldn't even know what I'm talking about, so. And I know we talked about, what I want, submission process, selection there's a whole section in here about I want certain criteria. Which one? I don't see it right offhand, but I did say I want town-specific experience. I don't want to have somebody coming in here from state or something. It's not going to be helpful if we don't have town processes.
Just one side note, staff has specifically discussed, if this shows that we're severely understaffed, are you gonna add staff to the town?
Holy cow.
And where are you gonna put them?
Well, maybe.
I think the auditor comments on that every year.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Jim,
Yes, Jean.
when you said like they talk with us for like a week, you know, get around to the different people, when you're figuring your timeline, I don't know if that could be extended to 2 weeks, just because of the time frame and
Yeah.
people with time off.
Right.
They may not be able to connect with that person, that you don't want to pigeonhole them to just a week, but it's just a thought.
No, I was forcing this to a meeting date.
Yeah.
So I will extend this and push it to like July.
Well, they would have the week of May 19th and the week of May 26th. I mean, it's a holiday week in there, but.
Well, and the next meeting is not until June 9th.
Right.
Right.
That's why I thought if it was RFP submissions in by the 4th.
Yeah, but they're not gonna be able to, who's gonna authorize me?
That's just getting the RFPs in. We had a pretty tight
Or
turnaround
RFPs, the RFPs.
They're
on the
RFPs.
RFPs for the bridge, I feel like.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. Any other?
And you can tweak the dates in the RFP.
I'll assess and talk.
Yeah.
Any other comment? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, I will do that. So now, we're up to you.
None.
No report. You see how this 11 is all empty? 12, license and special events.
Can we do it all at once?
Yes.
Okay.
Do you want me to read them quick?
Sure.
Okay, we have a special events permit for Scout Troop 17 to have their annual meeting at Jim Burns Memorial Park on May 24th. We have Dina Hardacre for a birthday party on June 7th. We have Carrie Franzine for a multi-church gathering and potluck on August 17th. And then we have Jerry Davis for a wedding on September 27th, 2025.
Make a motion, we approve special event permits for all 4 events at JBMP.
Any other discussion?
I'm sorry, who was the second?
Second was Barb,
Thank you.
our supervisor at church.
That's Jim Burns Memorial,
Jim Burns Memorial Park.
in case anyone didn't know.
I knew.
So we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So we're good. Special and pending meetings schedule.
Okay, May 20th from 10 to 12 is the open book. Those appointments are with the assessor by phone. May 21st at 10 a.m. is the next park committee. May 26th, the town hall will be closed for Memorial Day. June 4th and 18th at 6:30 is planning commission. June 9th is the next town board meeting. June 10th from 6 to 8 is the board of review. June 18th at 6:30 is the Booth Lake Park Board meeting. July 9th and 3rd, 6:30 is planning commission. That was bumped because of the 4th of July holiday. And then July 14th is the next town board meeting after that.
It just looks like the Booth Lake meeting for this month is missing, which is moved to May 28th.
And the park committee set a meeting for.
She mentioned
got it.
that.
I said
So they
that.
got it in there.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. I missed that, sorry.
I didn't know the Booth Lake meeting had been moved.
All right.
And I didn't catch up until about the second one down, so you had Board of Review, so the first one, Town Park. Was there any additional one in there on the front end?
Yeah, May 21st.
Like I got
Yeah,
that?
he got that.
And May 28th.
Yep, that's
Yeah,
good.
That's it.
Thank you.
Make a motion to adjourn.
To schedule.
Oh, yes, 13A.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, schedule department head performance reviews.
Wouldn't that fall under that thing we just talked about, or no? That's different.
You mean
Those are closed session.
Oh, no, this is for performance over the last year.
Year to date, yeah.
Yeah. Yep, and so there's individual, so there's, Todd and the chief, right?
Can we do them before the meeting like we were going to in the past?
Before what
They
meeting?
were supposed to
Before-
happen tonight, but then the park meeting wouldn't happen.
For our monthly meeting, we were gonna do.
We're gonna do them individually though, right?
Right.
Yeah, okay.
We had,
But we block a time or something, up to
About a half hour
five,
piece.
5 hours, is that? No.
No, about a half hour piece. Should be more than enough time.
Before the next town board meeting then? Is that what we're planning on doing?
5:30 and the 9th.
no Tuesdays.
That would have to be 5 o'clock.
Yeah, it would have to be 5. If we spend half hour on each of you.
Make a motion that we schedule the department head performance reviews for June 9th at 5:30 PM.
5.
5 o'clock, sorry.
Is that before the next board?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it's immediately before.
Second.
Any comment or, commentary? Otherwise, all in favor?
I'll make a motion, we adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We're adjourned. And then I gotta sign checks.
Way to go, Chairman.